What is up, LudyBros Army? It's your boy, Big Bro Lamar Ludy, sitting down to go over this matchup between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets. But before we get too deep into this video, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on, leave a like on this video, and always be ready for more basketball content coming to you guys from the LudyBros. This game had a lot of energy and a lot of excitement leading into it, even with a lot of the star players being out. No LeBron James, no Anthony Davis, no Kuzma for the Lakers. And the Nets didn't have James Harden. Kevin Durant is on a minutes restriction. And it still, I was still looking forward to this game. I couldn't wait to sit down and watch it, and I couldn't wait. I've been holding off on doing a video for the Lakers and for the Nets for a little bit of time until I knew this game was coming up on the schedule, and I wanted to see how things were going to play out before sitting down to give you guys my thoughts. After seeing this game, I really feel that what I originally felt about the Brooklyn Nets is still going to hold true. The Lakers came in the first quarter. They established their dominance, up 33-25. And Andre Drummond was super aggressive. If you look at how he finished the game, in just 22 minutes, he had 20 points and 11 rebounds. And this is what I was talking about in a previous video in regards to the Brooklyn Nets. They have a tough time defending, and they have a hard time grabbing boards. Andre Drummond's pickup by the Los Angeles Lakers, which I hadn't gone into any detail on it on this channel, but that was huge for them, and we're going to see this pay some dividends deep into the playoffs. I do believe that if the Lakers are healthy, they're going to be the team that represents the Western Conference, and his pickup is going to be the reason why that's going to happen. The Nuggets got a lot better, but the addition of Andre Drummond is what separates the Lakers now, I believe, when fully healthy from the rest of the West. Talon Horton-Tucker had a great game tonight, 14 points and 11 assists. The Lakers came to play. You could tell that they were tired. A lot of fuss has been made about this team dropping down. I mean, they have the worst offense in the NBA ever since LeBron went out. They're 5-6 without him in the lineup, and that's to be expected. But they needed to step up. The rest of the guys on the team needed to step up, and here's Andre Drummond now in his third game with the Lakers, and he was a monster going off on the Brooklyn Nets. Just 22 minutes, and he's able to get you 20 points and 11 rebounds. But let's look up and down the stat sheet here for the Lakers as a team. You're getting 14 and 11 from Horton-Tucker. You're getting 14 and 5 from Caldwell Pope. You're getting 14 and 6 rebounds from Markieff Morris. Dennis Schroeder got you 19 points, and he was ultra aggressive early on. He was kicked out of the game. Him and Kyrie Irving both got ejected. I don't know why Schroeder got ejected. Irving got up in his face and was being aggressive with him, which I like. I like that. Another unsung pickup for the Lakers was Ben McLemore. He got 17 points. Not much fuss was made about adding him, but he's a guy who can shoot the ball. And that's exactly what the Lakers need, is people who can step out to the perimeter and shoot the ball with confidence. And then you have Montrezl Harrell doing his thing. He got you 10 and 8. Now let's take a look at the Nets, because even though the score was so far apart, I like to look at what the Nets were doing. Kevin Durant is a baller. Look at his stat line here. He's got 22 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, he's a baller. This guy is a baller, and it's showing right here. Kyrie Irving chipped in 18 points. He probably would have been on his way to, definitely a 40-point game, I think, if he hadn't been ejected for drawing. Got to get that temper under control. I really feel that the Nets thought they were going to come in and just steamroll over this Lakers team, and I think that it was a matchup of two things. The Nets were coming in cocky and confident. The Lakers were coming in a little pissed off and tired of being, they just lost their previous game to the Miami Heat, so the Lakers are coming in with something to prove, and you end up having a night like this, which was just a blowout game. In the third quarter, we see the Lakers just blow out, and especially after the ejections of Schroeder and Kyrie Irving, we see the Lakers just go on ahead and go on a huge run, and that really seals the deal for this game. So when you check out the overall stats for the game, the box scores and everything else, the three-pointers for the Nets, 5 for 27. And when you're a three-point shooting team and that ball is not falling, what are you going to do? You got to be able to defend. When it comes to the playoff time, you're going to have to be able to defend. And even though the Nets have improved their defense, that was my one question about this team. Are they going to be able to get the stops when you need it? Now, I get it. James Harden didn't play, and that's obviously huge. I mean, he's an MVP. He's playing like an MVP player this year. But, I mean, the same can be said for the Lakers not having Davis and not having LeBron. So the rest of the guys were able to step up in this game. Lakers were shooting very well from the outside, 55% on 19 of 34 shooting. Both teams making it to the line, you know, pretty well. 65% from the Lakers here, and then you got 86% from the Nets over here. But look at this. The rebounding battle is pretty close, all things considered. 47 total rebounds for the Lakers to 42 for the Nets. 12 of them, though, on the offensive end, so that's going to hurt you a little bit. The Lakers are moving the ball very well and playing that defense. We're seeing here, you got 12 steals and 4 blocks. Now, 10 blocks for the Nets. That's nice and surprising. But I definitely think that the Lakers were able to lock in defensively and go ahead and put the clamps down on the Nets. Kevin Durant had a minutes restriction, though, so there are some things that we need to take away from this game that are going to be different if these two teams match up in the NBA Finals. Kevin Durant was on a minutes restriction, and look what he did. Like I said, in just 24 minutes, 22 points, 7 and 5. This type of talent is something that has me very excited. If you want to know what I think, if you're asking me for a preview now, I do believe that it's going to be these two teams. I think that tonight's game is a preview for the NBA Finals. But let's take a look. I thought DeAndre Jordan might find his way somehow into the rotation tonight, all things considered, but he wasn't able to get up off the bench. I think that might be something that the Nets need to go back and re-explore, is getting some minutes for him. LaMarcus Aldridge had a quiet game. One of the other big takeaways that I had was the abuse that Aldridge was taking from Andre Drummond. I mean, Drummond was just getting him on the block. He's motioning that he's too small to guard him. And this is going to be something to take into the playoffs. If this is the finals matchup, Drummond, I believe, is going to feast on the Nets. I do believe that's going to happen. So if this is the matchup that we end up with, be prepared for, I believe, Drummond to feast, and that's going to actually make things also easier for Anthony Davis once he gets back. It's going to make things easier for him too, playing alongside Andre Drummond. But this game, for all intents and purposes, and for the fact that it boiled down, I mean, it was only a 4-point difference when the 2 point guards were ejected. So the game was close, very close. And it was looking like it was going to be exciting. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the Lakers are going to run away with anything once and if they match up in the NBA Finals. I think it's going to be a great finals, maybe even one for the ages, with the Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Lakers as my 2 picks to come out of both the West and the East and match up in the NBA Finals. But what do you think? Let me know about your thoughts. If you sat down and watched the game, were you as excited as I was? Hit me up in the comments below. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed this type of content. The NBA is going to keep on coming to you guys because there's more games coming up on the schedule that I'm excited to sit down and watch. And I will see you guys next time.